Ladies and gentlemen, General Renuart.
Let's come around the backside there. Okay. Ooh. Somebody just connected their thing, and I'm going to put it somewhere where it won't go away. I think that'll work. Good morning. Welcome. Thanks for being here for what I think is my last press conference of my command. The past 3 years have been a great experience for both me and my family, and have really been one of the highlights of my career. And I really have to say up front that I can't compliment our team at NORAD and NORTHCOM enough for all the work that they've done over the last 3 years, the relationships they've built, the responses they've provided to the American people when disaster strikes. As you know, the mission of Homeland Defense is really the most important mission we have for our nation. North American Aerospace Defense Command and U.S. Northern Command focus on the homeland defense and the safety and security of both the United States and Canada, and that relationship has been strong for now over 52 years. We celebrated our 52nd anniversary yesterday. U.S. Northern Command has also a mission, a critical mission of homeland defense and support to civil authorities, and we approach our 8th anniversary of an operational command and have continued to show success and growth over these last 3 years in particular. Adding the word anticipate to our mission statement has forced us as a culture to look out into the future and determine where threats may arise and how we should best respond to them. Putting prevention into our focus has been critical to the success of our commands as well. Both commands are committed to safety and security and defense for our nations. And while the two are separate commands, they are increasingly interoperable, increasingly interdependent, increasingly complementary to each other as we conduct the missions each day. Over the past 3 years, we've grown, for example, we've grown NORAD's maritime warning capacity. That will continue to evolve over time. It will allow us to continue to focus on both nation-state threats and non-nation-state threats, for example. Partnership with private sector and private industry in the shipping arena has grown in the last few years and continues to be one of the real foundations of our maritime warning mission, that partnership with other nations as well as the partnership with the private sector. I mentioned that word anticipate, and certainly NORTHCOM anticipates the need to conduct homeland defense missions and civil support missions. We've taken that and forced us into a mode of collaborative planning with our partners in the Department of Homeland Security, with the various states around the country, with their emergency managers, their adjutants general and the like, to ensure that we have prepared for the kinds of events that may arise on very short notice or no notice that affect the lives, the safety, the security of the communities in our nation. That support to civil authorities has been tested. We've seen in the past 2 years responses to wildland fires in Canada. In Canada for sure, but in California, where our NORTHCOM teams have been heavily involved, both in the Northern and Southern California wildfires. We've seen it in Texas and Louisiana as Hurricanes Gustav and Ike and others have come directly ashore or skirted the region, and we've been in a position to assist in pre-event landfall or pre-landfall evacuations as well as post-event response, search and rescue, and the like. We've had a number of initiatives that we've worked over the past 3 years that I'm very pleased with. All of them deal with building relationships with our partners in the government, our interagency teammates from not just from the Department of Security, but increasingly from Border and Customs Protection, all of the law enforcement agencies that ensure the safety and security of our borders. We've grown partnerships with the FAA in terms of the continuing safety and security of our national airspace system, and these things have laid the foundation for growth in the future. So I leave feeling very good about where the commands have gone. I feel good about leaving with, if you will, no unfinished business. I think we've moved well down the road on the areas that were a focus for me as a new commander, and certainly for the commands as we've grown over the last 3 years. And I leave knowing that Admiral Winnefeld, as he comes aboard, will have a team that is well integrated, prepared for the next challenges that we see in the coming days, and certainly those challenges will be numerous. Thank you, and I'll be happy to take your questions now. Sir.
General, you talked about the integration of NORAD and NORTHCOM. Is it your view that this is the best structure for those two forces to be combined?
Yeah, actually, the more I have been involved in these two commands, the more convinced I am that you cannot separate the functions and missions that we conduct each day. Physically, we have combined in many of the directorates NORAD and NORTHCOM expertise in areas like cybersecurity, in our J6 areas, which focuses on our cyber missions, in intelligence fusion. We have unique focuses in the operations areas, so our J3 operations teams are separate because of the binational agreements that we have with NORAD, but they integrate with each other in terms of assessment of threats and then response to ensure that we take both the warning that is provided by the NORAD functions that have existed for so many years and roll that into the response actions, which may be binational or may be national in their action. And a great example of this is the support that we provided to Canada for the Vancouver Olympics. NORAD had a role for air sovereignty, air surveillance, and airspace security. NORTHCOM had a role to provide assistance to the government of Canada should it have been required for potential terrorist activities, natural disaster events, consequence management of something that may have occurred. That spectrum of activity is one that is connected from warning to consequence management. To try to separate those in some way would be it would create dysfunction within the two commands. It would not take advantage of the synergy that we've created with experts from really both communities, and I believe would increase the risk to both nations as we look at the kinds of threats we see in the future.